Hi everyone, so today we're going to do a standing practice. This will be excellent for those wanting to look into strengthen their knees or stabilise more around the lower joints. This is also good for opening up the hips, which might ease any tightness in the back that anyone might have. So to begin with, we're just going to come up to standing. We're going to begin with Namaskar A, commonly known as Sun Salutation A, just to get the blood flowing a little bit, get the body moving. So we'll come up to the top of our mat, place our toes together, heels together in Samastatihi. Create as much length up the body as you can. Then on an inhale, we're going to raise our arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up to a flat back. And exhale back into Chaturanga, known as low plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And then we're going to settle in here. So as this is the first one of the day, feel free to just pedal it out if you need to. Maybe bend the knees a little bit more to ensure we get a nice straight back. We're trying to create as much length in the back as possible here. Okay, on your next inhale, step to the front of the mat, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise to the ceiling. And exhale, Samastatihi. Very nice. We'll do this another couple of times. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, up to a flat back. Exhale, step back into Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And then we'll be here for a couple of breaths. Just feel free to settle in. Really push into the hands and the feet. Try and see how high you can get your waistband. Maybe look at the wall behind you. Maybe give the head a little bit of a wiggle. Make sure there's no tightness in the neck. Then on your next inhale, step to the top of the mat, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise to the ceiling. Really stretch as high as you can. Then exhale, Samastatihi. Okay, one more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up to a flat back. Exhale, step back into Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. See here if you can get a little bit higher. Maybe straighten the knees a little bit more. We're not trying to over push it. Just find wherever you're comfortable. Okay, on your next inhale, step to the front of the mat, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise to the ceiling. And exhale, Samastatihi. Very nice. So we should hopefully have the blood flowing around the body a little bit more. So next, we're going to take our feet hip width apart. Toes pointing forward, and then we're just going to stand nice and tall. On an inhale, see if you can introduce a little bit of a back bend, and then exhale from the hips. We're going to start to lean forward, coming down to the ground into a forward fold. We're then going to take our middle and index fingers, and we're going to wrap them around our big toes, keeping the elbows in nice and tight. Going to inhale up to a flat back, and then exhale, fold forward. So for here, you want to get your lower abdomen to rest on your quads. So if that's not happening, your back's quite rounded, feel free to bend the knees a little bit so that you get nice and rested. This will allow you to get a nice straight back for this pose. Maybe look at the wall behind you. Give the head a little bit of a wiggle to ensure that there's no tightness going on. We're not tensing anything. And then maybe use that interface between the toes and the fingers to pull you down a little bit further to the ground. On the inhales, feel the expansion in the back body. And then on the exhale, see if you can maybe stretch down a little bit further. Inhale, rise up to a flat back. Exhale, take your hands to your waist. And then inhale, rise up to standing. Samastatihi. Very nice. So from here, we're going to take the left, step the left foot back. And we're going to rotate it out 90 degrees. And we're going to try and line up our heels with each other in a nice straight line. Straightening everything up. Take our hands to our side. Nice big inhale. And then exhale, start to lean forward over that right leg as far as you can go. And then start to curve down, grabbing hold of wherever's comfortable. Maybe on the calf, maybe on the foot. If it is available to you, you can maybe hook your fingers around your big toe. Then with your left arm, we're either going to point it to the ceiling if that's available to you, or if this is too much, you find yourself starting to fall over, feel free to bring this around the back. It'll ease off that stretch a little bit whilst also providing an opener for the shoulders. So wherever you are, just simmer into the pose. Really draw the knees up into the body. Maybe putting your weight into the outsides of the feet. Then on an inhale, we're going to rise up. And then we're going to just swap the toes around. So we're pointing the left toes forward this time, right toes out 90 degrees. Take a nice big inhale. And then on an exhale, start to reach forward as far as you can, and then rotate over. Maybe taking hold of the big toe if that's available to you on this side. Don't worry if you can do something on one side, it's not quite as comfortable on the other. We don't quite use our bodies equally. So we might have one side that's a preferred side, might have one side that's a tight side. They might both be the same side. We all utilize ourselves differently. So just take your body for as it is today. Reintroduce yourself to yourself. Then on an inhale, rise back up. Then from here, I'm going to rotate that left foot in again to 90 degrees. Point the right toes out straight. Maybe take the feet a little bit wider if you need to, if you've got longer limbs. Then from here, we're going to take a nice big inhale. Drop that right knee. So create a nice long line. Take a nice big inhale. And then on an exhale, we're going to drop our forearm onto that right knee and take our left arm up to point to the ceiling. Create a nice straight line. And then maybe if you've got room availability here, if this is as far as you feel you want to go, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, take that hand overhead, creating a nice straight line from your toes to your fingers. And just breathe it out. Again, maybe putting your weight into the outside edges of the feet, opening up the hips a little bit further. Just breathe nice and deeply. Keep everything nice and controlled. If you find your breathing starting to stifle, just feel free to ease it back a little bit, maybe coming a little bit more out of the pose. Okay, then inhale, rise back up. And then we're just going to swap the feet around, right foot up 90 degrees, left foot facing forward. Take a nice big inhale, drop that left knee. And then on an exhale, reach forward, bring that left arm down, right one up to the ceiling. And again, if it's available to you, maybe taking it overhead. Try and keep the shoulders down and away from the ears here. Inhale, rise back up. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take our toes both inwards to 90 degrees. Maybe taking the legs out a little bit further if you need to. Toes slightly in, heels slightly out to ensure they are pointing forward. And from here we're going to take our arms wide. Inhale, bring them down to our waist. And then exhale, we're going to take a wide leg forward fold, pinging at hips. Coming forward as long, keeping ourselves as long as we can manage. And we're going to take our hands to the floor. We're going to keep them in line with our feet and our shoulders at the same time. So on both sides, keeping the elbows in nice and close. We're going to take an inhale up to a flat back. And then exhale, fold forward to wherever you manage to go in this pose. Look at the wall behind you. Maybe give the head a little bit of a shake just to ensure the neck's not holding any tightness. As you inhale, feel the stretch, and then as you exhale, see if you can maybe drop a little bit further down each time. Remember to breathe nice and deeply. Really inhale as far as you can through the nose. And then as you exhale, keep control. Keep it nice and smooth. Try and even out the inhales and exhales. Okay. On an inhale, rise up to a flat back. Exhale, take our hands to our waist. Inhale, rise up to standing. And exhale, bring the arms to the side in a nice starfish pose. Okay, this time we're going to do a little bit of a variation. So inhale, bring our hands to our waist. Keeping them on the waist this time, continue that inhale. And then as we exhale, keep the hands where they are. Hinge at the hips, fold forward. Same pose again, but keeping our hands off the ground. This will allow our feet to activate some more of our little stabilizers. Keep the head down, looking at the wall behind you. Maybe try and see if you can put a little bit of weight into the front toes. Shifting the weight forward a little bit. And just continue to breathe nice and deeply. Okay, on an inhale, just come straight back up to standing, nice and controlled. And then exhale, take the arms to the side. Okay, this time on an inhale, we're going to take our hands behind our back and we're going to clasp our hands together. If that's unavailable to you, feel free to take a strap so that you can allow some hold between the two limbs. So taking the hands behind, pulling the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then on an exhale again, folding forward, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, keeping the hands together. This is an excellent shoulder opener for those who might sit at a desk all day, might be feeling a little bit hunched over. This allows to activate and really open up those shoulders. So just continue to breathe, nice and fluid. Then inhale, rise straight back up to standing. And exhale, bring our arms to our side. Sorry, out nice and wide. Okay, we're going to go into our last variation here. So taking our hands, we're going to take them to our hips on an inhale. And then on an exhale, we're going to fold forward again. This time what we're going to do, if it's available to you, we're going to hook our middle and index finger around our big toes. Like so, keeping the elbows up nice and wide. Going to rise up to a flat back on an inhale. And then exhale, fold forward one last time. So really put your weight into that big toe so that you can really lock those fingers in place. Keeping the elbows wide, maybe use that interface to pull you a little bit further to the ground. Keeping the head nice and loose. And primarily just remember to keep breathing. Okay, on an inhale, rise up to a flat back. On an exhale, release the fingers and bring the hands to the hips. Then inhale, rise straight back up to standing. Then exhale, we'll step to the front of the mat, Samastatihi. Very nice. Okay, this time, we're going to take our left foot back and we're going to point it out to the side at 45 degrees. So that everything should be pointing nice and forward over that front leg. This time we're going to take our hands behind us in prayer pose. If you don't quite have the flexibility or mobility for that, feel free to maybe interlink wrists, arms, maybe elbows, wherever you find most comfortable today. And the purpose of this is to continue the shoulder opener, keeping the shoulders nice and open back and away from the ears. Take a nice big inhale and then exhale, fold forward over that front leg. Mentally, you want to try and see if you can get your forehead to touch the ankle. That's the intention for this, keeping the body nice and long. Continuing to breathe nice and deeply. See if you can put your weight into the outside edges of the feet. That'll keep you a little bit more stable. But if you are wobbling, don't worry about it. It just means that we're activating all the little stabilizers in the body, giving them a nice little workout. Okay, inhale, rise up, and keep our hands where they are. Just going to swap the feet around. So right feet turn up to 45 degrees, left feet out. Just pointing forward, nice big inhale, and then exhale, fold forward. Don't worry if it's not quite the same on this side as it was on the other. Continue to breathe nice and deeply, nice and evenly. Then inhale, rise back up to standing. And then let the arms go, step to the front of the mat, samastatihi. We'll just take a moment here, see how long you can make yourself. Keep the chest nice and proud, shoulders down and away. Just make yourself nice and long. Okay, from here we're going to take the left leg back again. We're going to point it out 45 degrees or 90 degrees depending on your mobility for this, but ultimately we want to get both our hips to point directly forward. Taking the legs maybe nice and wide this time, maybe a little bit wider than we had before. And then we're going to go into warrior one, so we're going to drop that front knee so it's pointing up, creating a nice 90-degree angle. And then we're going to take our arms overhead, trying to reach for the ceiling, nice and long. We're not trying to lean forward, we're trying to reach nice and high. Our hips leaning forward, the torso should be pointing up nice and tall. Let's continue to breathe here. Going to introduce some warmth into the legs. Really strengthen the little stabilizers around the knees here. So just see if you can sink into the pose. Really enjoy it. Won't be here for too long. And then keeping the arms where they are, we're going to change the positions of the feet. So left toes pointing forward this time, right toes out either 90 or 45 degrees. Take a nice big inhale. And then exhale, really stretch into that front leg, like so. Make sure the shoulders aren't hunched up against the ears. They're drawn back nicely down the back. And then from here, we're going to drop the arms down to out wide. We're going to rotate that right leg out to 90 degrees, coming into warrior two. If you find this a little bit too easy and you've got longer limbs, feel free to just take the legs a little bit wider again, sinking down a little bit further, looking over those left fingertips, keeping the chest nice and proud, really digging into the outside edges of the feet, creates a nice long stretch across the inner thigh and the groin. And then keeping the arms where they are, I'm going to rotate the left feet in 90 degrees, right feet out to point forward, and then again sinking in. Keep ourselves nice and tall. Look over the right fingernails this time. Continue to breathe nice and deeply. This is a strength builder here, so if it's starting to burn, just keep with it. Won't be here too much longer. You'll reap the benefits afterwards. Nice, and then stepping forward, windmill the arms across, step up into samastatihi. And what we're going to do is we're going to sink to the floor by beginning with seated pose or chair pose. So coming down, we're going to come down into half squat, bring our arms above our head, see how low we can bring ourselves down, and then exhale slowly and controlled, bring ourselves to the floor, lowering down to in a lying down position, one vertebrae at a time, just nice and controlled. And then once we're down, take the toes as far away from you as possible, stretch the hands overhead, see if you can make as much space as you can between your toes and your fingers. Take a nice big inhale, and then on an exhale, let the feet slide out to the sides. Bring your arms to your side, palms facing up. We're just going to finish off in Samastatihi. Apologies, Shavasana. So soften or close the eyes. Have a quick scan of the body. Make sure there's no tension anywhere, including the face. We're just going to remain here for a couple minutes while our bodies just absorb the work that we've done over the past 20 minutes. Okay, for those that want to remain a little bit longer, feel free to. Otherwise, for everyone else, keeping the eyes softened or closed, come back up into a nice seated position. Either crossing the feet over, keeping them straight, maybe tucking the feet under, whatever feels comfortable for you today. Maybe sitting on a block. Come up nice and tall. Take one more moment just to scan the body. Can you feel yourself being a little bit longer this time? Maybe taking note of anywhere that still feels a little bit tight that we can set our intentions on next time. Then if your eyes are closed or softened, flutter the eyelids just to let the light back in. And thank you for joining me today. Namaste.